Hey everybody, so as promised, Paulette and I are here to answer the questions that were posted yesterday on Facebook. We just thought it would be a great opportunity for you guys to just ask any kind of questions that you have about remodeling. As you know, we're taking just a little bit of break from being on site for our first floor remodel in Muskego because we're waiting for some appliances and some final touches. So not a lot has changed there, which, sometimes you kind of hit a little bit of a lull when you're waiting for installs and stuff, and especially now. So let's get going. I've got all the questions here. Paulette's in front of me, so let me introduce her. Let me turn us around.
Hi, everyone.
Hold on, it didn't.
Oh, did it turn?
Hold on. There we go.
There you go. Hi, everyone.
All right. Okay, so Paulette, if you want to just kind of tell us, how long you've been in the design industry and with Callen, and a little bit about your background.
Sure. A little background about myself. I've been with Callen now 15 years this year. Been doing this for about 18 years. I also have a degree before that in interior design. And then I'm also a certified kitchen and bath remodeler. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
all right. So you want to just jump right in?
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. So the first question came from Lindsay Schultz.
Okay.
And she's asking, I'm trying to find an attractive kitchen countertop choice on the low end of the budget. Granite and quartz are too expensive. What are your suggestions?
So getting into different types of countertops, probably the most price effective is going to probably still be laminate. When you get into laminate, you have to also be careful though, because you can build your budget with laminate, which closes the gap a little bit too. There's a lot of options with laminate. If you just go with kind of a basic laminate with a nice post form edge, that's going to be your starting out price points. Laminate has come a long way, so they have upgrades of different types of textures on laminate now, which does make them a little bit more scratch resistant and a little bit more looking higher end, also of kind of giving the looks of granite, marble, that kind of stuff. So once you start doing that and adding different types of edging, you can get into the beveled edge, you can get into a couple of different other things where if you don't do a post form, which is like a rounded edge, you don't have the miters in the corners. So again, it gives it more realistic of like the butt joints like a true stone would be. And then you also can add under mounting on laminate now these days and actually have a good seal on it. I've been in this industry for a long time and I never really pushed it because of the laminate of how it was adhered to sinks and the cause for like leaking and kind of that kind of stuff over time. So we have one that we do. You can only do a stainless steel or a steel granite because of the weight of the sink. Where you get a true undermount of those things. But by the time you start adding in those upgrades, you start to close the gap a little bit. So those are things where you get into your entry levels of like a Corian solid surface or a quartz or granite. You start closing that gap a little bit more. So those are things that, depending on the look you're going for, do your homework if you do start adding those upgrades to laminate to see how close you are between those two.
And obviously with Callen, when they sit down with that consultation with you guys, this is stuff that you'd be able to walk them through and help them with. That's great.
So we go through these things. We have some samples also with it. Top mount sinks now, what's amazing is some of them don't have like the lips, the big lips where like all the caulking is, and where they're flatter and more flush almost. So those are things you can still get a very attractive looking, piece without having to go with all those upgrades with laminate.
Awesome. Okay, so along the same lines, there's another question about countertops.
Okay.
What is the most durable type of countertop material in regards to scratching and heat resistance? This question came from Emily Borgelt.
Yes, so getting into both type of your stones, they're going to be pretty comparable in price point, meaning between the granite and the quartz are going to be your most durable materials. You can get quartz, more expensive than granite, and granite vice versa. So when it comes to it just depends on the look you're going for. Granite, I say the more exotic or the more movement and veining, the higher the price point. You can get into quartz where there's really no rhyme or reason, they just have them categorized. So very close in price point, just depending on what you're looking for. Getting into the durability of them, both quartz and granite are going to be very durable. The big difference is that granite comes from the earth, so it's a natural material. So you need to have it sealed to be able to protect it from bacteria, staining, all that good stuff. These days you can add for an extra charge a 20-year, and there's actually, we're getting more into lifetime sealers now. There is a little bit of an added charge for that, but that protects it, and then you don't have to worry about protecting it every year or 20 years depending on what type of sealer is put on it. So that basically has a little bit of maintenance unless you do the lifetime sealer on it. Quartz, on the other hand, is a man-made material. It's going to be quartz with billets, is basically a blend, which makes it maintenance-free. On both of them, going to be heat resistant. I still tell my clients to protect their investment because extreme temperature change can crack either stone. So I always tell people, if you have like a gallon of ice cream sitting on the countertop and you go out of the oven and you don't have a place to put it and you drop it on there, it can crack your stone. So I always say, still use a trivet, heat pad, something like that, just to protect the investment from that. But if you did have a struggle opening it up and didn't have a place because all your burners were full, you could put it down on the stone, and majority of the time it's not going to hurt anything.
Okay.
But also going to durability. I'm sorry.
No, that's
but
you're fine.
Both of them too with the durability, they are going to be where you can actually cut on both materials, but they'll dull your knives. So you still want to use again a cutting board for that, so that way you're protecting that too. But just the durability. I have quartz in my house, and we have an area where the kids do their Play-Doh, their crafts with Elmer's glue, rubber cement, everything, and glue sticks. I mean, it's just such a gem to just be able to clean it up and have it look, like it did day one. And it's something where both materials are going to be very durable. It's really going to be what look you're going for.
Awesome. Okay. So the next question here comes from Cindy Vandenberg.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a two-part. So we'll do the first one. We'll kind of just hit it how she had it. Because of the supply and demand right now, are you finding that projects are taking longer to get started? In other words, is there a waiting list?
So to answer your question, the 15 years I've been at Callen, our longest from signing a contract to start a project was 12 to 14 weeks. Right now we're looking about average 6 months. And I can tell you it's not a Callen thing, it's a nationwide thing. From the pandemic, couple things, people have been sitting in their houses, noticing what rooms need attention, and they're not going on vacations, they're not, doing their investments other places, so they're putting into their home. So the timelines have to do with just the amount of remodeling people are wanting to do and just keeping very busy. And the other part of that is going to be shortages of product or back orders.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Materials are harder.
I mean, anywhere. I mean, there's furniture, appliances, getting into plumbing fixtures now. And so what we do at Callen is that we play the safe route where clients don't get mad if we start a little bit sooner than later. So we make sure all products have an ETA of them coming in to us. So that way when we start your job, it's a domino effect, and we're not having your kitchen or bathroom ripped up and then, oh wait, the tub's not here. So that's something that we are making sure and doing a great job of just keeping up of where product is. And if we are hitting a little bit of a snag, let's just say I had a job where a sink, wasn't available for 6 months. What I did was looked at ones that are very similar, sent them to my client and said, here's 3 other sinks that are very similar. Would you like to wait for this sink? Or would you like one of these other options that are in stock? So again, we're just dealing it as it comes. With our first floor remodel, we don't include appliances in the actual Callen part of it. You go direct with the appliance people, but that's probably where we're finding a lot of it. We want to get the project going and starting and basically trying to work around of keeping their stove to like plug that back in until the stove's available. So we're trying to work around that also. But it's just going through a pandemic of remodeling, but we're doing the best we can to, find stuff that's in stock and choosing more items and knowing ahead of time. But it's amazing of like how fast something is in stock and then it's not available. But we're chugging right along, and it's something that we really try our best to make sure everything is good to go and we have product before we start.
And I know that our project management team is doing a really good job at trying to schedule things out and making sure that they're getting all the alerts when things come in. And
cabinetry, that's something where out of the 15 years again being here, it's a 21-week lead time for cabinets, so it's something that never seen it before. It's something hopefully that will be coming back the other direction than going further out. But again, what's nice is we know these things and we're being more proactive than reactive with it.
That's great. All right. So the next question comes from Jennifer Lipinski, and she's asking, what is the best area in your home to remodel in order to increase its value?
Kitchens and bathrooms. I can answer that one right like that. Kitchens and bathrooms are going to be your number 1 and 2 rooms in the house that definitely increase the most value. Adding square footage on even like lower levels, definitely. We do a lot of it just to add extra square footage without building up or out, since you have that square footage already in the home. But kitchens and bathrooms, it's something that you get the most return. And it all really depends on how much return by how much personalization you put on it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is, we can put quartz or granite into the home, but if you start wanting to have a certain style or look and it's a little bit of a higher price point, that's where it's going to be a little bit of a difference of where the return on the value is if you're making your dream kitchen versus resale value. And what's nice is when you get into certain products like our cabinetry, getting into a stone countertop, those things usually are very good quality where if you put it in day 1 and you go sell in 15, 20 years, they're going to hold their value and basically really have the durability and the overall quality to look like day 1 over time too. But those are probably going to be your most valuable outcomes of remodeling to return on investment in the home.
Awesome. Okay, so then this was a question that also came from Cindy. How long is the typical process from design to starting work on the project? So like what is Callen's process?
So Callen's process is we do a very detailed process. Reason why we do this is that we really want a lot of detail up front than these things coming out after we get design done and stuff like that. So we actually have the first appointment in our showroom, the one the Muskego showroom on Janesville Road. And that takes about an hour typically, give or take, depending on the project and how detailed it is. But what we do, we go through exactly, scheduling, dust control, timelines, and then we really go over your scope of work. So we go over exactly everything that there is to do in the remodeling project, and then we go over materials with you. Here's the differences in maintenances. Here's the differences, what you're looking at for price points. So that's something that we can give you a realistic investment, not only for the scope of work, but also with the materials. Pictures do help. We don't need drawings with, dimensions or anything like that, but just bringing pictures in on the phone, we can see the size of the space and how much we have to fill in, meaning the amount of product to narrow down that investment a little bit more. From that point, the next step is where we do a retainer process once we come out to the home, we do a retainer agreement. That's going to be where we measure everything up. We start putting a detailed design together for you along with a detailed proposal. And then we have you come back into the showroom where we go over the proposal. And then we also go over the design. And that's the fun part where we say, here's why we did something. Here's why we didn't do something. And the fun part, we put it on a screen. And basically, you see your new space without even taking a sledgehammer to it yet. So that's going to be basically more determined on how fast you make your decisions. Meaning, if at the first appointment you want to get that retainer appointment going, or if you want to think about it, that's going to basically give you the timeline for that. And then, like I said, right now from signing a contract to start a project, we are about 6 months approximately, give or take, depending on. Every week, we readjust to where we are with timelines of product and stuff like that. So, but yeah. And then typically most projects are average about 6 weeks, depending what it is, and it can go longer, a little bit shorter, but average is about 6 to 8 weeks for projects.
So my question, I'm just going to kind of elaborate. Mm-hmm. So how much time or how much, I guess time is the right thing. So if you've got to go to the tile shop or the flooring shop, do you let your customer or clients just go and do that, or do you go with them, or how does that work?
Nope, you get the full-on design assistance. That's our favorite part, I think, as designers. Once the contract is signed, some designers do a little bit differently. How I do it is once the contract is signed, we start picking out materials at the showroom, what we can do there. Cabinetry finish, countertops, edge style. And then we set up an appointment to go to pick out if there's a tile backsplash or tile in the shower surround, flooring. So that way, I like the domino effect. If you start trying to think as your project as a whole of what it looks like in products and materials, it's very confusing to a homeowner and very overwhelming. So I like to do the domino effect where you start off with one material and that helps choose the next material, and it helps much less. It's more of a painless, way to do it. And then you have, of course, your expert designer to help you saying, this is why this one would work better, or if you want this look. So it's actually I love it, between space planning and just the overall selections. And it's just awesome to see, like, here's everything, paint color, tile, flooring, countertop, and then to see it put together. It's the customer's just like, coming from samples and this, your, vision, they love that the designers have that knack where they can see it, already done, and the homeowners are just, seeing the samples of it together.
And I know too, I mean, because I've been a customer of a remodeling project, it's like you've got your highs and lows, it's stressful kind of throughout, but then you have those fun moments, and then the overall reveal is the most amazing part. So when you see everything come to life. So awesome, Paulette. If there's nothing else, or if there's something else you wanted to add, that's all the questions that we had.
And if you ever have any questions, I mean, don't hesitate to call our office and ask for one of the designers. I'm always happy to help, with this. It's an overwhelming process for a homeowner just starting, and that's really why we do this detailed process, and we really want to help you every step of the way, and that's really what we are. We're design build, where we are a company where we do it all, and where you sit back and relax. You don't have to go research. You don't have to go shopping on your own. I actually tell my clients, don't go out just on a Sunday afternoon or Saturday, afternoon and start looking at tile or something. You're going to overwhelm yourself. So that's something where I always say it's like sending a kid into a candy store. You just look at it and it's like, where do you start? So that's really where you get the design build experience with project management, design assistance. And, it's really, again, more sit back and relax and let the experts take over and let what's best and for overall projects. So
Awesome.
Yes.
All right, well, let's flip it around here back to me. Maybe. I don't know why this is just, oh, there we go. Oh, and I'm sorry, because there's this light right here. So you just hold this, or maybe put my head over here. So thank you for joining us. The questions and answers, the questions that were put on the Facebook page were awesome. We were excited to do this. This is the first time we kind of sat down and did a Q&A like this. Keep an eye on our Facebook page, because we are going to update you on the project. And as soon as everything kind of starts coming in, we'll do another reveal on site. And then, the project is soon to be completed. So thanks for following us on Facebook, and just stay in touch. Thank you.